What's going on, everybody? Brett here, my YouTube channel Good Talk Gaming. Today I have a special 2v2 battle for you guys here on Battle of Winter Pyre. Going to be playing as the Dwarves, allied with the Skaven. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, that's not very thematic, and you're right. Up against double Vampire Coast armies, double Salastra Direfin. This is going to be an interesting one. And I said in the beginning this is a special battle, and it's special because everyone in this game is a subscriber to my channel. So that meant a lot to me that I was able to get 3 other guys in here, and we had a good time. We played multiple games, and this is my first ever all subscriber 2v2, and I was pretty hyped for it. So before the battle gets underway, very quickly, I'm rocking Belagor Ironhammer as my lord. Look at him walking, such a total BA in and amongst his iron breakers. Ulthar's Raiders behind him, the Regiment of Renown, Rangers with great weapons. And a front line of cheap Dwarf Warriors, some Longbeards in support. I have 1 Runesmith, 1 Thane, and some Thunderers and Miners in the back, as well as the Gyrocopters with the Brimstone guns, going to be going up and around. My ally, for the moment at least, until he stabs me in the back, is going to be Queek Headtaker, a Skaven Lord you don't get to see very often. Not very favored in the meta is poor Squeak, but he's a terror of a duelist, and he's going to be supported by a Plague Priest here. Should be racking up some big kills this game. Lots of Clan Rats and Storm Vermin with shields. Anything with shields is a decent counter to the Vampire Coast, and you'll see there Queen Bess already raining some hot fire into my poor Dawi, targeting the Iron Breakers with the carronades. Brutal stuff. And we're going to get over to the other side of the battlefield in just a second here, I guarantee it. We also have out on the flanks, we have some Night Runners with slings, so 3 groups of those guys, as well as some Death Runners with their concealment bombs, as well as their stalk ability. They're going to be able to chew up just about any infantry unit on this side of the battlefield, so an excellent choice there from my Skaven ally. And our opponents here have some scurvy dogs hidden in Vanguard, perhaps hoping to catch us unawares if we were to take a artillery-focused army. And we talked about it, or at least we kind of shuffled back and forth in our army picks in the beginning of this battle. I started with some cannons and a few other different things as part of my army comp, and my Skaven ally was going to go with some Warp Lightning cannons. And had we done that, I think we would have traded very effectively on the artillery front. But check out this battery here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 carronades grouped around Queen Bess and a gunnery wight. So taking advantage of that increased ammunition, reload speed, and Spiteful Shot providing plus 90 accuracy as well as magical damage. The magical damage not being relevant, actually somewhat hurtful against the dwarves being highly resistant to magic in all forms. And another carronade kind of out on the flanks here. Not a bad choice. You don't want to keep all your eggs in one basket, that's for sure. Multiple deck gunners, and deck gunners are excellent against shielded units because they do have, if we can click on it here, shield breaker. So they pretty much ignore shields, and their armor piercing is so high that they're pretty much a can opener unit against the dwarves. Lots of pole arms, going to be protecting all of this ranged firepower. Good choice. Armor piercing units, they last for a long time thanks to the unbreakable nature of the undead. Lots of just cheap deckhand mobs. You can tell all of their gold went into their artillery, that is for sure. And double Salastra Direfin, so should be looking out for some Promethean spam. They already have 2 on the battlefield. Heavily armored crab monsters. Going to be very good at absorbing fire from my Thunderers, as well as just tanking enemy infantry. Very good against things like Dwarf Warriors, Longbeards. They just don't have the armor piercing to get through them. And a unique pick here from one of the Vampire Coast players is going to be Sirens. So 3 units. They look very thematic here with Salastra Direfin in and amongst them. And they're weak against the Dwarves, but very good against the Skaven. So it all just depends on where they get thrown in. With their magic damage, they're not going to be able to cut through the heavy armor of the Dwarves and their magic resistance. But they cause fear and terror and will be very good at routing the Skaven with their low leadership. But having the Skaven mixed in amongst my Dwarven leadership, as well as like the Longbeards who provide an encouragement aura, should keep the Skaven fighting long enough to have them get extra value. So I've gone up and around here, with my gyrocopters, and I'm seeking to bomb these deck gunners. Not super effective. He also gives them an invocation of the heck, which is going to keep them alive. Some rotting Prometheans hanging out in the front lines here, and you can use them to break a charge, although you don't really have to fear the charge bonus of the Dowie. It's not all that mighty, with the exception of Belagar. Belagar, in his campaigns, you can build his entire army to be a complete charge army. And there we go, the first of the crabs mulched through the Dwarf Warriors, who I sent ahead to take any type of missile fire. Runesmith here with the Rune of Negation, Oath and Steel, and my miners with blasting chargers, throwing off against the deckhand mobs. You can see that was pretty big damage. Ulthar's Rangers firing into the Sirens, while my Thunderers are going to set up against these Prometheans. The Slingers here out on the right flank, as well as the Death Runners, are up in the melee. There's a bit of a scrum there on that side. I gave up trying to pick off these deck gunners because they were heavily supported by the handguns as well as a carronade. So I'm going to send them up and around and try and get on Queen Bess and shut her down. Plague going off on this nice blob here, so excellent catch for my Skaven ally. And that should generate lots of value for them. Iron Breakers here throwing in their charges. Oh my god, a shot from Queen Bess followed by a beautiful cast from Salastra Darafin. Vangeist Revenge is the name of that spell. Sorry, I was blanking for a second. But that just ravaged all of the Storm Vermin that were here helping to support. I tried to keep some of my infantry units in reserve, being like the Grumbling Guard, as well as these miners. I knew that blobbing up meant instant death, but when I saw what we were up against, I kind of felt like we were doomed anyway, but it's not in the nature of the Dowie to surrender, so we're going to keep fighting. My miners here holding down this flank, trying to support the Skaven as best we could. I've been using my Rune of Wrath and Ruin on the Sirens to give us that magic damage. You'll see here it lowers their speed and does decent damage to them, but massive invocation of the heck in the front lines can keep them alive quite easily from their vampire caster, who is he over here fighting the Thane? No, the Thane is by himself. He's been isolated. He's surrounded by armor-piercing polearms and Silastra, but he's a tank. That's kind of what he's meant to do. Big shots from the carronades, the handgunners, the deck gunners, all counter-skirmishing my Thunderers, who are heavily armored. They do have shields, but they can't stand up to that much focus fire. Nice pick here from my Skaven ally, the Poison Wind Globadiers, standing within range of my Rune of Negation, so they're pretty tanky with 100 in armor and 22% magic resistance. But their armor piercing and magic damage would be very good if they were casting their globes onto these damn Knight Errants, Silastra, or the Sirens. They're also going to be great at taking down the Rotting Prometheans as well, which is more of what they're supposed to take down. The Ulthar's Raiders here, thrown into melee. Look at these damn Knight Errants, pretty cool models. They're ethereal, just like the Sirens are, so they'll take increased damage from magic. This flank here is buckling. I lost one of my gyrocopters, so I tried to use them to take down the unit model of Queen Bess. As you'll see here, it's firing back here with the support of that gunnery wight, and it's still at full ammunition. So once I realized that we weren't going to be able to take out the unit model, I got the heck out of there just to keep my gyrocopters alive. One of them ended up getting blasted off of the map, so better to keep one alive than to keep trying to pursue a failed strategy was my thought there. Doomwheel being held in reserve, I don't blame him. Lots of scary firepower once you kind of try and cross this lip. And if you keep them parked back, but still close enough, they can shoot their Warp Lightning. You just have to keep them kind of in and amongst the fight. Queen Bess with the huge shots. Just perpetually driving back my Thunderers, being microed very well. Poison Wind Globadiers did a good job at taking out those damn Knight Errants. Lots of summons here, making sure that we never get through the front lines into this very juicy back line. The Doom Wheel going up and around here. Hopefully going to try and shut down these deck gunners. Runesmith still fighting in the pits, in amongst the heavily armored vampires of the Depth Guard. Not a fight he wants to take, but he's very damaged. If he was at full health, it would actually be a fight he could take. The armor piercing of the Death Guard isn't all that great. My Thane here still fighting. Belegar casting Rally to keep my troops in the fight. Even these low tier Dwarf Warriors are still in it. Sturdiness of the Dawi is legendary. Longbeard's up here, battling it out against the pole arms. And we've managed to unify Belegar with my Thane, and we're trying to beat down Silastra, but her high physical resistance is going to make that difficult. We could take a second here and check out her animations, which are pretty unique and very cool. So in the same way that Belegar can't quite hurt her, she can't really hurt him. It's not uncommon when you're playing with Belegar for him to be the last unit on the battlefield. Just super tanky. Silver shield, 120 armor, excellent melee defense and melee attack, and decent weapon strength for a dwarf unit. My Thane has finally been captured. He's been circled by a group of rotting Prometheans that have been summoned, and he is going to go down. My Runesmith broke off and is trying to rally. My Skaven ally is almost nowhere to be found. It's just the brave Dawi that are left, holding on their own. And even though Belegar has a ton of health, we still have some very resilient Grumbling Guard here in the pits fighting. That is going to be it. Belegar stood alone, and it was not enough. So let's end this replay here and check out the kills. So actually, before we get into the kills, guys, let me say thank you to the subscribers who played in this battle with me. The Witch King of Angmar, Captain Titus, and Triari. All good guys. The Witch King, very patient on my team. It took a minute to set up these battles, so nice of him. He was one of the first ones to want to jump in. Captain Titus, an early supporter of the channel, much appreciated. Always down to play a game whenever I ask him to. And Triari, who is going to be featured on the channel tomorrow as our first ever community cast. So he submitted some replays. I've checked them out. They're very good. And I'm going to be casting one of his games tomorrow on the channel. And I can't wait to do that. Also, 500 kills on Queen Bess. So beautiful. So let me take a look at the armies and what we were able to do. Just kind of general all-around decent kills and value on my units here. But honestly, we were fighting an uphill battle with no artillery, no way to counter skirmish the enemy artillery. We were doomed. This was not the optimal Vampire Coast build by any means. It was just something fun, something a little bit different to do. The Witch King kind of on board here. 200 kills on the Plague Priest, so excellent cast. Queek Head Taker with a massive 153 kills. Still with a lot of health by the time he was forced off the battlefield. And I like this build as well. We could have, had we been in chat together, Discord or something like that, we probably could have put together a pretty sweet rush army. And maybe that's something to consider for next time, because the Dwarves can Vanguard deploy. And the Skaven also have tons of things like Death Runners. We could have potentially surrounded them and got into their stuff that way. But they brought basically what I expected them to bring. Didn't expect the double Silastra. I was kind of expecting to see some Necrofix Colossi. But excellent cast there. Captain Titus making good use of his Rotting Prometheans to keep us from getting over that lip and into the artillery. Depth Guard there on the cleanup duty, getting lots of kills. Good micro on the Carronades. And yeah, even the Sirens got their value in their respective fights. We were able to dumpster one of them pretty hard with magic damage. But this Silastra, 120 kills, without a doubt, you could chalk that up to the spell casting. Vangeist's Revenge being a beautiful spell at dealing with large blobs, which is certainly what we had there in the center. And did I mention 500 kills on Queen Bess? Thanks almost entirely to this gunnery wight. Queen Bess would have run out of ammunition halfway through that battle if it wasn't for the reloading of the gunnery wight, and probably would have missed a lot more shots if it wasn't to the increased accuracy from Silastra Direfin. So great games from everybody. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Once again, my name is Brett. My channel is Good Talk Gaming, And if you have a replay that you would like to submit for me to cast, feel free to do so, guys. Just add me on Steam. I'll accept your friend request, and from there, just let me know who you are if you're a subscriber, and I'll send you an email that you can send all your replays to. And I don't have a very big backlog as of yet, so the sooner you send them in, the higher chance you have to getting them on the channel. So thank you so much, guys, for your support. Thanks once again to the subscribers who helped make this possible. And guys, I will see you in the next one. Take care. 500 kills. That's amazing. All right, I'm out.